Good morning, everybody. You are currently listening to a Tall Girls podcast hosted by a tall girl named India. I hope everyone who's tuning in today is doing super fantastic. Before I get into this episode, I do want to say make sure you're following me on my socials at a Tall Girls podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest so that you can stay up to date on all of the latest podcast episodes and catch a glimpse of my everyday life. Also, feel free to leave me a review and let me know how tall you are. I'm genuinely curious. Everything is going to be linked in my description. I hope everyone who's listening had a nice and peaceful and wonderful and fun Thanksgiving. I hope you're full of turkey and ham and whatever else you may eat at the Thanksgiving festivities. I hope your fridge is also full as well as mine is. And it's just crazy to me how now we're basically in December. Well, not today. Today's the last day of November, I believe, the time that this episode is up. But the next day is December. We are in the last month of 2023. It's crazy to me because I feel like just yesterday we were just ringing in the new year for 2023, and now we're about to ring in the new year for 2024. Is that insane? But I'm just ready for the holiday vibes now. I feel like a lot of people after Halloween are just like, yeah, Christmas. And like, no, stop skipping over Thanksgiving. It was fall vibes. It was Thanksgiving vibes for all of November. And now that Thanksgiving has passed, I think I'm mentally prepared to head into holiday season and especially get ready for Christmas. And speaking of Christmas, I will say I probably will have put this on my Instagram stories already, but I am not really going to be participating in Podmas this year. So, if you don't know what Podmas is basically where it's like similar to Vlogmas, what YouTubers do. So, Vlogmas, they post videos every day. Podmas, you post podcast episodes every day. And there are quite a few podcasters that I follow that actually are going to participate in Podmas and post episodes every single day. Mind you, these people have prepared throughout the year for this time of the year. I haven't. And then on top of that, I transitioned into doing video podcasts this year. If you didn't know, I am now recording myself and posting my face on YouTube. So that's great. So you could definitely check that out if you like. But in terms of like now editing video and all this other stuff that I have going on with school because I'm in my last year of school and just trying to pick up on work and stuff like that. And I'm in marketing and it's holiday season and that's going to be stressful in and of itself. So I don't think I have the mental capacity to participate in Podmas. Honestly, I didn't even do Podmas last year. I did 12 days of Podmas where I just posted 3 episodes a week for 4 weeks, which in my opinion is some type of Podmas. But I don't think this year I'm going to be able to do that. I don't have the bandwidth or mental capacity for that. So it's going to look a little bit different for December. I'm trying. I will see. I'm working on that right now, but I'm trying to see if I can get a guest on here every single week and maybe do like an extra shorter video episode for you and get that up as well. So having guests and speaking with them about like being tall and self-confidence and all that, and then having like a holiday themed episode as well, just a shorter thing. And I think that I'll be able to do that and then posting a lot more video instead of video and pictures over on my socials. So we'll see how that works. Something new, something different, a little bit nervous for that, but sometimes you just gotta go a different direction and see how that goes. But I think I'll be okay with that. And I'm pretty sure you guys will love it too. I hope you guys will love it, but that's what I can do this year. All right, enough of that. Let's get into today's episode, which is a request from one of you guys. Actually, I did a poll over on my Instagram story. So if you want to participate in those and like just request episodes and all those good things, make sure you follow me over on Instagram. But I did a poll over on my Instagram asking what types of episodes and what types of topics you guys want to hear. And someone requested dating. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I think that it's pretty fitting right now, especially heading into December, heading into winter period, because it's basically cuffing season, the height of cuffing season. And if you don't know what cuffing season is, it's basically when you're in a relationship with another partner or even partners. It's 2023. We're talking about that, yes. If you're in a relationship with a partner or partners and you have somebody to do holiday things with, you can go see Christmas trees and lights and shows and all that stuff with your partner. You have someone to snuggle with and cuddle with on those cold nights or on those cold trips if you're taking like public transportation or going on walks. Essentially, it's just the time when it sounds so bad when I say this, because honestly, it's better to be lonely than to be with somebody that you just don't want to be with at all, but you're with them for the sake of just not being lonely. But it's just that time also where a lot of people feel lonely because they're seeing other people with their partners and they don't have one. I will definitely say that used to be me in the past 21, not even 21, the past 20 years, because I am cuffed this cuffing season. I literally can't believe I just said that out loud. That's all I'm going to say. We're just going to leave it at that. But it's the height of cuffing season, so I just found that it was fitting to talk about this whole dating thing and the struggles of dating as a tall woman. And dating itself is just very unique to each person's situation. Some people start earlier, some people start later. If you're like me, some people are allowed to do it at certain points in time. Some people aren't allowed to do it. I wasn't allowed to date in high school, so that definitely had an effect on when I even started. And then some people are able to choose their partner of free will, others it's just arranged. It's just very different to each person. There's no one size fits all type of thing for dating. It's not like there's one right way to do it because everybody's situation is different. Now, for me personally, I didn't start doing all of that till I was 21, and I'm 21 right now. So I didn't really start until recently because, like I said before, in high school, I wasn't allowed to date. But when I went to college, that was the height, something of that sort. It was just the pandemic was going wild. So we were in lockdown and I was online for school for 2 years, and I really I was in a club, but a school club. Let me emphasize that. A school club, but that was also online, so I wasn't really going outside and meeting people like that because of the pandemic, which is understandable. And then I'm pretty sure you guys know my journey by now, but by the time it was junior year, I went to school 1 or 2 days a week, I believe. And that was a struggle, just trying to talk to people and make connections. It wasn't really until my last semester, the second semester of junior year, when I actually started making friends and meeting people. It was just a very interesting process, very slow process. It just wasn't until this semester, the first semester of my last year, of course, when I started dating. So that was a very interesting journey. And I did have my crushes at times in high school. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I think I only had a total of two because I went to school with like a bunch. I'm not hating on the nerds, but I went to school with a bunch of nerds, and I was in my era of, oh, I don't want to date a nerd. Like, it doesn't have to be like this big, okay, there was actually no jocks at that school because I went to a very specialized high school, a very rigorous academic high school. So we didn't even have a football team. That's how crazy it was. But I wasn't like, oh yeah, like for the jocks, but I also was not like, for the nerds. You know what I mean? There just wasn't much exploring to do in that respect. And also I was very focused because I was very involved because yes, I was going to school and that was already pretty hard itself, but then I was also an athlete. I was playing sports. I was also in music, so I was doing that. I was just doing a lot in the school, so I also felt like I didn't have the time to do it. But there was this one, he wasn't even in my school. I used to play in the city band when I was a senior in high school, and I think we were both like 17. Had a massive crush on him, and I found out because we had like a mutual friend. I found out from the mutual friend that he did indeed have a crush on me too. And some people will especially tall people, especially tall people. Some people will say that I got lucky because he happened to be 6'4". And because of that, I kind of question, did I like him just because he's tall or did I like him for him? But I did like him for him. He just happened to be 6'4", which in some cases can be a plus, I guess you could say. But he's not the one that I'm cuffed to right now. Okay, that's all in the past because that was pre-pandemic. It was actually right before lockdown. We something was starting, something was sparking, but then everything shut down and we were locked in our homes. So that really didn't go much of anywhere. And back to my point of him being 6'4", because I know somebody's probably going to end up saying something about that, whether it's a comment or a DM. People already comment that underneath some of my videos, but there's this assumption that tall women only want to date tall men and the not so tall men are unattracted to us. And I'll be the one to tell you that that's not 100% the case. I will argue that the whole standard of the man having to be the taller one in the relationship is losing its popularity. But it's still kind of there to some extent. And that can make it a little hard for tall women to date. So I can understand why this person requested this episode because the struggle can still be there to some extent. I mean, it's 2023. We're getting better, but we're just not exactly where we should be just yet. And I think my number one thing about this whole dating scenario situation is that people have their preferences. Some tall women prefer shorter men. Some tall women prefer men the same height. Some tall women prefer taller men. Some tall women just don't care. As long as you're vibing with her and she's vibing with you, then, whatever happens, happens. But the preferences, the strict preferences of the woman having to be tiny or shorter, that is honestly what sometimes can affect the route that many people go in terms of who they choose to date. And then that can affect our self-esteem because we're constantly thinking that, oh, men only want shorter women because they're seen as more feminine. So sometimes people's preferences, very, very strong preferences, can take a toll on tall women's self-esteem because of that. And that's the thing with the whole men preferring shorter women or women who are shorter than them. Because there can be this pressure for tall women to appear more feminine to offset the fact that our heights can be intimidating. So we may talk in a higher voice. We may try to act more passive. Either way, if you feel forced to do that, then you're in the wrong place. So is dating difficult for tall women? Yes, it can be. There are definitely a lot of struggles that are tied to it, from the insecure short men to the men who seem to only go for very short women. And then you have the people with the weird fetishes. Yeah. But everybody has some type of struggle when it comes to dating. It could be a race thing, an ethnicity thing. It could be how they look. It could be also on the opposite end of the spectrum from us struggling with being tall. There are people who are short and also struggle with dating. Everybody has their own unique struggles. I mean, I can only really speak for the tall women because even though I haven't really dated like that, I can definitely say that a lot of the boys, especially in high school, stayed away from me because I was significantly taller than them. And then on top of that, I was an athlete. So my build was already bigger than theirs because they haven't really developed as much. So a lot of the boys were scared of me, and then that would just lead them to not want to talk to me. And like I said, I was too focused on other things to really care that much. But that definitely plays a role in tall girls' self-esteem, especially when they're younger. I actually did an episode with a guest, Rachel, who was talking about that, how the teacher would try to pair her with the tallest boy possible, but she was taller than all of them. So it was just super weird. Yeah, it's going to be like that because they don't hit their puberty till much later. So their growth spurts hit much later. And they just feel a little bit intimidated by the fact that there's a girl who is significantly taller than them. So that can definitely take a toll on our self-esteem. But I think it's really good to look at the positives. The great thing about dating as a tall woman, in my opinion, is that you can filter out the people who you are incompatible with. So the creeps, the insecure shorties, their red flags may appear earlier, which can save you a lot of time and headache. And when you see those red flags, you run, girl. You don't stay, you run. Because refusing to date a tall woman is like refusing to date somebody because they have brown eyes or crooked teeth. Rejecting someone based on a simple physical trait that they can't even control is a little much. As I've said before, and as I keep reiterating, people have their preferences. And I try to say this as much as possible because you should not be taking it personally. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. A lot of this is out of your control. And the likelihood of you actually changing somebody's preference is very low, and you shouldn't even be trying to do that. You should be trying to find the people who appreciate every single aspect of you and who appreciate you for you as a whole, as a person, as a human being. So just keep in mind, people have their preferences just like I'm sure you do. And it's literally nothing against you. It has nothing to do with you. And there are billions and billions of other people out there in this planet Earth who I'm sure you can find that will appreciate you and your height. And trust me, they are out there. Listen, there are tall women who have husbands who are a foot shorter than them. Hear me when I say this. Love can make anything possible. It can be exhausting. It can be draining. And if it feels like everybody has like this one particular type, or everybody just wants to go for the same type of woman or same type of person, maybe it's time to take a step back and consider who you're going for. Because if it seems like all of the men that you're going out with, or all of the people who you're going out with, are into the same people, or they seem like they're all the same, then you're quite literally going for a certain type of person, and that's not good. We don't want to attract that bad certain type of person. So it might be best to take a step back and focus on yourself, do some self-reflection on who you want to attract and what type of person you want to be with. And also do the things that make you happy and go about your life. You know, it's not all about dating. You can do your hobbies, you can hang out with your friends and family, go to work, go to school, stuff like that. And I feel like in doing that and focusing on yourself, you can start to realize the type of person that you want to be around, or the type of person you want to be with. And on top of that, you're also, because you're living freely and truly and how you should, and being who you want to be, being who you are, you're going to attract the people who are meant to be with you. So don't rush. There's no set timeline for anything. Some people find their soulmates earlier. Some people find their soulmates later. Some people don't even find their soulmates at all, you know? There's no set timeline, there's no set direction, there's no set thing to follow. Everything that is meant to happen will happen in due time, and that right person is going to find you, and you will find that right person in the right time. It's just good to be patient and keep doing what you do, and everything will fall into place. And if somebody has those outdated assumptions, stay away from them. If they have the overly traditional, very strict, very controlling assumptions and thoughts and ideas, stay away from them. And this goes for everybody, okay? I know that I've been talking a lot about like men and women dating, but this honestly goes for everybody, no matter the gender, because it's 2023. We just gotta accept that fact, okay? Love is love. Love is gonna look different for everybody. Love comes in different shapes and sizes. It doesn't matter. But the reason that I was talking more so about men and women dating is because that is where more of the struggle lies. Very traditional relationships tend to breed very traditional assumptions, if that makes sense. So with the men and women dating, it's almost like society's like, okay, men and women, if the man and the woman are dating, then the man has to be taller, the man has to do this, that, and the other, and the woman has to do this, that, and the other. That type of relationship is more so where the height insecurities and the height things come from. And that's more so where I know the most information or have the most experience with as well. So that's why I'm more so speaking towards that. But like I said, this whole entire thing goes for every single type of relationship, every single type of person. So the struggle can be real to date as a tall woman, but everybody has their person or people. And I firmly believe that yes, the struggle is real, but to some extent, the struggle is worth it when you find that right person. And it's all going to end up okay in the long run. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. As always, feel free to hit me up on my socials at a Tall Girls Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and just let me know, have you struggled with dating? Are you dating? Are you not dating? Did you quit dating? All of that good stuff. If you want to have a nice little chit chat, I'm super down. Happy December, even though it's not December the day that this is up, but hey, maybe you're listening to this in December. And I am excited to see what direction this Podmas, it's not even Podmas, this attempt at a different Podmas is going to be. And I'll catch you in the next one. Good night and goodbye.